Hello, my name is Hercules, and this is my 331 Viva. My case study covered the impact of digital transformations on banks, UAE banks to be specific, FAB, Emirates NBD, and DIB. Uh, so, I analyze all of these ratios of capital adequacy from their Pillar 3 reports 2024 and 2025. Which got a combined risk-weighted digital cost transform risk-weighted asset base of around 1.5 trillion. So my analysis spans over four research questions covering wealth succession, cryptocurrency, money laundering events, and sanction events. And let's get into it. So regarding my questions, I'm going to split each part into my explanation. So my first question, I included undigitized banking operation in the world, referring to intergeneral wealth succession. I read a an article based on Cyrillus Associates, basically specifying that by the next generation, there's going to be around 124 trillion worth of global inheritance being moved around by 2048. Um, Yet not a single bank that is currently in the Middle East or in Asia currently has a system dedicated to this digital service. Um, the consequence of not having this kind of digital service is that 87% of heirs switch banks after their parents' death due to problems in receiving their inheritance. My proposed solution was in Heirs Bank, uh, a bank uh, a bank service basically built on a mobile banking app. No account, no download. It operates across three core modules, being asset intelligence map that auto populates estates details via open banking API, a succession internet engine driven by AI questionnaires, and a family governance framework for managing trustee rules and spending policies. The seven-step journey for the user would be logging in and connecting assets to then inviting their heirs, uploading legal documents and registering digital assets, all conducted by an advisor dashboard showing a live succession health score based on which they usually give a call just to check on the person's inheritance and health to based on that. On death notification, once legally confirmed, the legal vault is accessible within 24 hours. The business case is uh, banks eliminate their hair acquisition cost, advisor retains their AUM across generations, and 20% of permanently lost Bitcoin due to such errors are prevented. For the second question, I went into uh, basically why UAE banks permit cryptocurrencies using uh, VAR framework and to check if whether Bitcoin qualified for that. So my answer in that it still remains no, since I calculated Bitcoin analyzed volatility and noticed was exponentially higher than USD AED, making Bitcoin around 653, four times the volatility of the UAE currency. Um, so I tested Bitcoin against five different monetary theories, actually four: metallism, chartism, credit theory, quantitative theory, and public interest theory. It fails every framework. In the UAE context, I would say chartism has the most relevance. Money is valid because the state declares its tender, which is only the digital dirham, which is CB CDF, CDV. Uh, so as we go into this, I analyzed these uh, kind of events for my third question regarding the money laundering and sanction events. I included Iran, a Binance laundering scheme. Um, I included a money laundering scheme in Dubai called UAE Grey Listing and Tornado Cash. Um, so from the results that I got from my table, I noticed that in 2022 the that the dummy variables and the significance levels of uh, the primary uh, primary event, being the gray listing, had high significance, and this confirms that UAE's anti-money laundering failure directly and persisted supporting cryptocurrency market returns. Even after controlling the market movement, critically, the pre-event CAR at around 120 days was already negative zero point 0.9 and significant, meaning markets anticipated the gray listing 4 months before it was official, probably due to insider information. The post CAR, the post CAR 120 days remain relatively uh, less significant. And for the Binance scandal, the event day abnormal return was quite high with a very high significance, one of the largest shocks across all four events. Now, if I'm going to talk about that, I should also include CBDCs, stablecoins, and with its comparison and how it affects to capital adequacy. And I did this based on Basel III capital. The question 4 compares capital treatment of digital dirham, USD, USDDC, and USDT, which I took for my CBDCs, and then for my uh, digital currency, for my stable coins, I took a different combination. Before I get into that, I also mapped all of this out from Pillar 3 ratios, and I also found out that the digital dirham carries 0% RWA as a central bank liability, and the USDC qualifies as a group under BIC framework and Genius Act, and USDT has around 1,250% RWA change in non-compliant with MiCA and Genius Act, meaning every dollar of USDT exposure consumes over 12 times its face value in capital. The, also, regarding this, I also took an analysis on the three banks on the tightness of its NSFR at 104.54%, making it the most sensitive to digital intermediation. Uh, the key recommendation is clear. Banks should maximize the digital dirham exposure 100% and prioritize USDC in a private stable coin is required. The stable coin probably uh, will probably utilize that in some other aspect, and we should also reduce USDT holdings, which impose greater unnecessary capital charge. Thank you. This is my PIN 331Y.